we're redefining the quality of education and productivity and business impact that a real estate conference can have.
Good morning and welcome to another Motivational Monday. My name is Matthew Hodge, Executive Vice President here at LPT Realty. I'm joined by Robert Palmer, Founder and CEO. Good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm doing fantastic. We got a great studio audience here today.
Yes,
got an existing, exciting one-day AIU event going on today.
Yes.
And I always like to cheer for my agents who traveled the furthest to be here.
Yes.
We have an agent from Washington who's come a couple of times, but now we have a Hawaii agent in the house today.
All right, in the back.
Officially our furthest traveler to come in for an AIU event. So I'm not sure what time zone your body clock is on, but thank you for being here with us this morning. It's like 3 a.m. in Hawaii right now, or whatever time it is.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate the effort. Okay, so we are going to jump in today. We got a lot of data to uncover. I received tons of questions over the weekend asking about the BLS, the CPI, the PPI, and one of the biggest questions that I have is, why are you wearing a dragon shirt? What is happening here?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. So Reagan's birthday was this weekend.
Okay.
Reagan turned 8. I cannot believe I am the father of an 8-year-old now. But we had a How to Train Your Dragon themed party, had her little friends over from school, had a fantastic time. And she wanted me to wear this toothless shirt on Motivation Monday. She actually wanted to come on Motivation Monday.
Dad,
Mom shut that down. She's like, Dad, for my birthday, can I go on Motivation Monday? And Mom is like, absolutely not. She's like, all right, well, you wear the toothless shirt then. That's this dragon's name, Toothless. For those of us that watch this movie, which is in my household currently playing nonstop.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, the live action remake, the 3 different miniseries cartoons. Like, we got it, How to Train a Dragon 24 hours a day in my household right now. And so I have the Toothless shirt on today in honor of Reagan's 8th birthday. Happy birthday, baby. I love you so much. And I'm rocking the Toothless shirt today.
Yes, awesome. Cool. I'm going to buy you guys some lizards. It'll be the closest thing that we can get to a dragon. So we're going to jump into some data. Got tons of questions over the weekend asking about like what it meant. We spoke about 3 specific data points, the BLS, the CPI, and the PPI. And so last week you kind of alluded like, hey, we got the first set of information. We are going to see this information unfold throughout the week. And if stars aligned, it could be the stage, the precedent to start seeing lower rates. So where did we land through all that? I guess, do you want to break us down what each one of those reports are and then like how it all mixes in?
Yeah, so let's start with how we did. I'm going to give last week a B-.
Okay.
All right, not as great as we had hoped.
Okay.
There was some mixed data, which now is putting even more pressure on the Fed meeting this week. All right, so coming up this week now, the Fed, and it's a foregone conclusion in most traders' minds that the Fed is going to cut rates, at least a quarter. Like everyone feels like the quarter is locked in. And then from there, there's going to be really getting into what does the dot plot show? So that's where the Fed forecasts what they think they're going to do with rates in the future. Dissent is a big thing. So usually the Fed all agrees, like in a normal market, we have this like harmonious Fed where everyone votes yay together. And we have not been seeing that. We've been seeing dissent votes. So when a Fed governor dissents, they're saying, hey, I disagree with the choice. And then they usually tell us why. Did they disagree because they wanted to cut less or cut more? And so these are the signals that the market is now going to be watching. And so if we rewind to 2 weeks ago, on Friday, we had a jobs report, non-farm payrolls, it's called, from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. It was very good for rates. The jobs report, the jobs market is softening a little bit. We've also seen less jobs posting happening. There's a report called JOLTS that comes out that tells us how many jobs postings and listings are there out there. That has been softening as well. Because if we remember, the Fed has a dual mandate. 1, they have to control inflation, and 2, they have to keep us employed as Americans. That is the 2 main reasons they move interest rates around. And so we've seen the job market starting to weaken. And so then all eyes were on last week because we had what's called the BLS revisions, which is there's been a lot of concern about how good is the data. Were jobs being overcounted? Are there problems with the statistical methods that the BLS is using? And so there was a 900,000 job downward revision. And while that is a big number, it's not as big as people expected. So last year, I think during the period of time in question, which is I think February to February or March to March, there were about 1.7 million jobs created. Some people thought the downward revision was going to be like 2 million, like take us into negative territory. That would have been even better for interest rates. In the end, we had a 900,000 downward revision, still a big deal. Instead of creating 1.7 million jobs a year ago, we created 800,000 jobs a year ago. So that's still a big downward revision, but some traders were banking on like a massive revision that may even put us into negative territory. We didn't get that. So I give that report maybe a B plus.
Okay.
All right. Then we went into producer price index, PPI. This one was actually softer than expected. So this is an inflation gauge. So jobs, not so great. That's good for us. Now it's inflation, because as I've said many times here on Motivation Monday, the one thing that bond investors who actually drive long-term mortgage rates are more afraid of than the Fed is inflation. And so if it is viewed that Fed moves will cause inflation, then that actually doesn't help long-term rates. You could see the Fed cut and mortgage rates get worse. We saw this happen on the last Fed cut because some people thought it was premature. The Fed then went into pause mode, and we did see a spike in inflation. And so PPI came in softer, which is good. That means there is less inflation happening at the producer level. So this is the companies that are buying materials to manufacture things. They are seeing less inflation than expected. So that was actually an A, maybe even an A plus report.
Okay.
That was very good for us. Then consumer price index, CPI, came out on Thursday, and this one was a B minus, and this one's driving the whole week because this is the really important one. Consumers are still seeing a little more inflation than expected. Now, in combination with less jobs and a bad inflation report, a less impactful inflation report at the producer level, we kind of dodged a bullet with CPI. If the other two had not been good or maybe been worse, then we would have seen a worse impact by CPI. We did see the market sell off a little bit. It's since rebounded this morning. So we dodged the bullet last week. We are still on track to get the rates we need to create the boom, to unlock all of this pent-up demand that we've been prepping for. Us Boomsday preppers here at LPT Realty. We're going to get a t-shirt made for FallCon. It says something like, I survived the bust. I'm ready for the boom. Boomsday prepper, LPT Realty. Those will be on sale at FallCon. So that's exciting. So we're still on track for that. The next big thing is the Fed. So now all eyes are going to be on the Fed, which I think we should have expected. While, as I've said, the data has to lead. If inflation data had been super hot and we weren't losing jobs, there is nothing the Fed could have done this week to change that. But because we got mixed data from CPI and PPI and the BLS, now all eyes are back on the Fed. The Fed now has runway to do what they need to do. The question is, are they going to cut a quarter, a half, or 3/4? All right. If they cut a quarter, I think we kind of hang out where we are. If they cut a half, I think we will potentially see rates come down. If they cut 3/4, I think we would see mortgage rates get worse because that would spike the inflation fears from the bond vigilantes and the inflation hawks who don't want to see that happen. So that's where we sit. So a little more clarity than we had last week. We dodged the bullet. We got away with a B minus. All eyes are now on the Fed. We have one more week of waiting to see what's going to happen. But again, we are one drop in interest rates. I mean, there are some low sixes, high fives on certain loan programs with buy downs. I've seen folks getting like to a 4.99 with some of the builder products. So rates are not in a bad spot right now. So if all we do is hang out where we are, it is going to be better for us, but it's not going to create the boom. If we hang out where we are, I think the boom happens in the spring. So if the Fed cuts the quarter, or if they cut too much and the market reacts badly, but we can hang out where we are on the long-term rates, I think it puts us in a beautiful position to have a boom next spring, which actually isn't a bad thing. That gives us all 5 more months to prepare, 6 more months to prepare. I'm actually a fan of that. The alternative is that rates do start to dive now and the boom hits this year, which actually, again, I don't love it as much. I think that what is best for our industry is for the boom to happen next March. I mean, I'm not going to turn away from it. Like, we will take the volume now, but we'll see where it lands. So that's what we're watching. We're going to be back next Monday to break down what happens on the Fed meeting. We're going to interpret the dot plots and the dissents, because it's while the number they cut does matter, the messaging behind the cut is really what I'm looking for. You know, if we get that, again, if we get the 3/4, I think you're going to see negative impact. I don't think that's really on the table. I think you're going to see a quarter or a half. I think you're going to see some dissents asking for more. And then the big thing is, where does that dot plot, which is the Fed projecting where they think future interest rates cuts will come, where is that going to fall in? And then how do the inflation warriors react to whatever the Fed does?
So if you're hearing this data for the first time and you're not quite sure how to interpret all of it, and you're just like, okay, well, what do I tell my consumer? Like, if someone's thinking about buying or selling, like how do I then relate this information to them to give them a little more clarity on maybe what the potential future could look like?
This is the beautiful thing about the mortgage being the most powerful consumer option in existence. You can always refinance out of it if rates go down. Now, we got to be careful with that because it's not like rates are guaranteed to come down, right? They may not. I mean, we believe they will. Most experts believe they will. But here's the beautiful thing. If they do go down, you can always refinance. Like the bond investor cannot stop you from paying off and reinvesting and taking advantage of a new lower rate. However, if you don't lock in, if you don't close, there is no path to getting back what you lost if rates don't come down in the future. So my advice is we have really good rates right now. If you're in a position to lock in, you have a house under contract, maybe you're working with a lender that has long-term rate protection even before you go under contract. To me, this is not a bad time to lock in because if you lock in now and you close at a 6.25 or a 6 or whatever that ends up being, and then rates drop to 5.75, great, refinance, or rates drop to 4.5, 4.99, wherever we go, refinance. But if you don't lock in right now and we get some crazy reversal, what does that mean for you on your payment? You will actually see consumers who cannot close, right? They're quoted a rate right now. They're qualified. They've maxed out their pre-approval with what happened to rates last week. And they qualify, and then all of a sudden, if we see rates shoot back up to 7, you'll see busted contracts. You'll see canceled deals. So my advice is we are still in this window of uncertainty. Take advantage of this little reprieve we've seen with some very good rates. If you go shop around right now, you can lock in a very attractive interest rate right now. That may change after the Fed meeting later this week. It may not. But lock it in. Don't gamble. When I wrote my book, Financial Ninja Handbook, back in 2018, there's this concept of don't gamble with the largest purchase of your life. Like if you have a rate you like, if you have a payment you like, lock it in. Don't be a gambler. Don't bet on black or red. Lock in the rate you can get today because, again, you can always refinance later. Like that's the beautiful power of the 30-year fixed rate. Everyone who paid cash for a house in 2020 and 2021 is regretting it because they could have locked in a rate in the 2s and they could always pay it off. You can always go back and pay it off later. You have the option as the consumer, but if you don't take advantage of that low rate when it's available, there is no solution to change your mind later. So take the mortgage now, lock in the rate now, and you can always decide to pay it off later. You can always decide to refinance it later, but lock in that powerful consumer option. That is the advice I would give my clients. That is the advice I have always given my clients from the mortgage side.
Okay. All right. So that gives us a little idea of how to maybe move someone past that analysis paralysis. And they're thinking like, hey, I don't want to make a move. There's these big data points coming in the future. I feel uncertain. I want to be able to understand how to make the best move. And maybe some of this data can help you have that conversation with a little more confidence and clarity. We've got some additional things to talk about in terms of FallCon, what AIU is. There's still tons of questions about these events, these 2-day events, these single events. Can you walk us through the free event, the 2-day event, and then ultimately the largest event that we have at FallCon?
Yeah, so like we've said, we're really trying to figure out how do we blend the beauty of this cloud brokerage, this single entity national brokerage where we all get together on Zoom every single Monday like we do here. We've got Listing Power Tools Day on Tuesdays. We've got Real Estate First Friday on Fridays, but we wanted to bring the human component to that. And so we took this old ITT Tech building that I bought back in I think it was 2017, 2018. When ITT Tech went bankrupt, I bought this college campus here in Lake Mary, and we've now transformed it into our Ascend Initiative University. And so we've been running a series of events. We've got our free one-day events, which is what's going on right now. We had a 2-day paid event last week, which I mistakenly called the free event on Motivation Monday. We have 3-day events, and then we are still right now having one offsite conference at the Orlando World Marriott. That's FallCon, which is a 4-day event coming up 30 days from now. And so I think it's great, man. I mean, we've seen different mixes of people coming in. I think the in-person connections, the getting to know each other, the getting in these rooms and masterminds has been really cool. It's definitely a different vibe here. It's smaller, it's more intimate than what you would see at a conference, but I think that's a benefit. I think having these more frequently, but we're really going to take a look at the data. What did attendance look like? Where did people get the most value? How can we do a better job? Did we get the kind of buy-in we thought from agents as we build the 2026 AIU calendar? So that's all on the horizon. But the way I look at it, it's been a massive success. I've heard so many amazing feedback and comments from agents who picked up those golden nuggets, picked up those relationships, picked up a referral partner, maybe got motivated to launch a team, maybe joined a team, all these different things happening from coming coming to one of our in-person events, and that is powerful. We're also kicking around, do we try to regionalize these events? Do we ultimately have multiple AIU campuses around the country? I mean, we're a 3-year-old company. We got a lot to figure out. We got a lot of growth still left on the horizon as we build this company to its full potential and scale. And so really excited about that. And then coming up in 30 days is FallCon. So this is our offsite event. This is where we go get the big ballroom at the expensive hotel, and there's margaritas by the pool. It is not an intergalactic kegger, as I have said a few times now. It's an educational event, right? So we're launching our 3 key certifications to help you ready up for the boom. That is my working title right now for the collective of the 3 certifications, readying up for the boom. And we're going to be highlighting these key moments that I'm calling ready ups. And so the ready ups are through these certifications. My goal is that you walk away with 100 snippets, 100 ready ups, 100 actionable, aha, that's going to work in my business. I'd never thought of it that way. I can see putting that use tomorrow. I can see that helping me win another client. I can see that helping me sell a listing faster. Whatever that is for you, my goal is that you walk away with 100 ready ups from FallCon across the 3 certifications, all of the breakouts we're doing, and all of the other great content we're putting together. And so for those of you who haven't been paying attention, while we have talked about this a lot on Motivation Monday, there are 3 certifications that AIU will be offering next year at $2,500 a piece. So these certifications will be sold under AIU. They will be in-person events throughout 2026. We're including them at no extra cost at FallCon. So with your $1,099 FallCon ticket, you get all 3 of those certifications. You're going to walk out there with a certificate, the workbook, the 100 ready ups, actually 3 workbooks, 1 for each certification. And I got a 4th I may surprise everybody with. I got a little concept I've actually been kicking around and playing with since probably 2019, 2018 that I may throw in as well as kind of a last minute surprise. So 3, potentially 4 workbooks, the 3 certifications, 100 ready up so that you can put to use in your business. I'm really excited about it. We're redefining the quality of education and productivity and business impact that a real estate conference can have. If you think back during years like 2020 and 2021, when we're all making money, we're all having our best year ever, we're all printing cash, like I can see the conferences just becoming big parties, but it's not what they were supposed to be. The whole idea of this is we're here to help more consumers. We're here to level up our business. We're here to drive more wins, more successes. And right now, that requires hard work. That requires ready ups. It requires some of these tactical things that we're going to arm you with. And so we are going to turn the ship back to where I think it belonged the whole time, with a heavy focus on education and real world applicable takeaways in these ready ups that you can apply to your business, these workbooks and these blueprints that you can put to work when you leave there to get us all ready for the boom. Because the boom is coming. We've had 3 years now. 3 years now? What? We've had
3?
All of 20, almost all of 25.
Yeah.
All of 24, all of 23, and most of 22. I guess we're coming up on 4.
Yeah, really.
Almost probably like 3.7 years if we want to get really tactical. Q1 of 22 was still good, and we don't know how Q4 of this year is going to be, but we're getting there. So 3.7 years somewhere in there of low home sales, 4 million annual home sales. That means there are on average about 1.5 million homes a year that should have turned over that didn't. Because 5.5 million home sales is kind of a normal market based on our population and where we are as a country. And so all that pent-up demand is there. It's going to cut loose. It's going to create this massive boom. And FallCon, Ready Up for the Boom, is all about getting you ready. The AI-focused certification, the price point step-up certification, the in-person influencer, how to go viral in real life certification are going to be business changing. And all that's happening at FallCon. We're 30 days out. So we're right there. I think most people have grabbed tickets at this point. I keep hearing people tell me like, oh, I haven't got my ticket yet, Robert. Like, you need to get on the ball.
Better do
all
it.
right, we are 30 days out. At some point, we're probably going to either do a price increase or just turn off ticket sales because we have to get ready. Like we have to know who's coming. And so I don't know when the right time is for that. Maybe 2 weeks out. Maybe it's next week, 3 weeks out. But we are here on the bubble. We're 30 days out. If you're procrastinating, stop procrastinating and grab your tickets so we can lock this in. We want to print your workbooks. We want to get things ready for you. We want to be prepared. So if you're procrastinating, stop it and get your ticket. And we hope to see you at FallCon.
I feel so
really excited about it, man. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be, it's going to be a huge, get together, a lot of educational content. We've got some great experts coming in to help. We've got a lot of our own agents helping. But yeah, man, really exciting. 30 days out, FallCon. We have the FallCon announcement graphics, if we can throw that out. So if you're going to FallCon, so anybody can get these in Desi, but they're for those of you who are actually going to FallCon. But if you want to grab your ticket and post it, go ahead. These graphics are available inside of Desi, so you can announce that you're going to FallCon. Let all of your other LPT agents know. Let all of your other friends in the industry know that you are going to FallCon. Social media graphics, go to the social media graphics under social downloads, click on feature graphics, and you'll see those there. You can download it. You can post it. I think there is still a little bit of money left on the pay at closing option. So we burned through the first $250,000 that I put in there to buy people tickets and then take it out of their next closing at $1,299 instead of the $1,099. I think there's a little bit of money left in there. And so there's still an opportunity to grab that when you go to the FallCon website. If you do a virtual ticket, you'll get all the conference classes. So we're going to stream everything out. You buy a regular ticket and then you just don't show up, and we'll get you the Zoom link. We're going to send out an email or something leading up and say, hey, if you're not attending, we will also ship you the conference collateral, but you got to pay for shipping. Yep. So that's the only downside to not attending in person is you'll have to go in and request that we ship you your collateral, your workbooks and everything, and we'll get those shipped out to you just for the cost of shipping, since you're not going to be here for us to hand them to you in person. So one little benefit of coming in person, which we hope to see everybody in person, but we do understand those that can't travel, can't make it down. So we are going to make these 3 amazing certifications available virtually for anyone who buys a FallCon ticket but cannot show up. So grab a pay at close ticket. If you're tight on funds, there's still some left. If not, throw the $1,099 on your credit card. This is the most valuable conference you will ever attend in real estate. And I'm excited to be a part of it in just 30 days. AIUFallCon.com.
Yeah, that's
AIUFALL. AIUFallCon.com has both the pay at close option and the pay $1,099 on a credit card option.
How would you ask our entrepreneurs to think about this week?
Stay ready. Stay ready. We're talking a lot about the ready ups, about preparing for the boom. We are in this bust. The bust is going to come to an end. And when it does, those who prepared are going to reap the benefits. And if you didn't, you're going to have to play catch up. And so we're doing everything we can here to help you get ready, help you stay ready, help you be ready for the boom that is coming. We may get some good news out of the Fed this week. We're all going to be watching that. We'll be back here on Motivation Monday. But regardless of all that, put all the noise aside, regardless of what the Fed does, regardless of this data, keep doing what you're doing, because you are making those investments in your future business, because this market will turn around. We are in a cyclical market. The only thing that is for certain is it will go up and it will go down. We just don't know when. And we have been down for long enough that the only direction we can go from here is up. The up is coming. Be ready. Stay ready. We'll see you next week on Motivation Monday.